The Wii U and 3DS servers go offline in just 5 days, and we've been kind of going through all the past games on the Wii U and 3DS and talking about how it's the last time we'll be able to play with others online and use the online services. And this one probably hits the hardest, especially for me as someone who literally played this game to the ground when it first released. I remember being so conflicted on the idea of squids running around shooting each other, but I got so hooked it easily became my most played Wii U game and probably one of my most played Nintendo games of all time. That even beats some past Mario games, and you know I love my Mario. So Splatoon 1 going away is one of the craziest things to even think about. It feels like it was just yesterday that I was playing this game, and it's sad to see that this game is officially going to be pretty much unplayable unless you're just jumping on to play the story. Yeah, the entire multiplayer will be shut down, which means you can't play with friends, you can't play with randoms, you can't play online at all, which is extremely sad. So I wanted to do the thing that most Splatoon YouTubers do, go back and say, was Splatoon 1 like in 2024? So that's exactly what I did, and of course, I wanted to just experience a couple of games one last time. Before I dive into the Splatoon 1 farewell, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and if you're really gonna miss Splatoon. A lot of you guys have been killing it lately with subscriptions, and we are trying to reach 300,000 subscribers, so let's see if we can beat yesterday's, which you guys absolutely ate it up. But let's dive into the world of Splatoon one last time. I know we now have Splatoon 1's lobby in Splatoon 3, which you still technically have to pay for because it's part of like a DLC pack and everything like that. And we also have Splatoon 2's lobby in there too. But there's just something different about actually being in the original lobby on your Wii U. It's just a certain feeling. It's an atmosphere, and it's something that I'm definitely going to miss. Of course, you can always run around this area even when the servers are over, but this is the last time we'll be able to actually run into the lobby. The one thing I remembered immediately is just how simple everything was. The UI, the way you choose your weapon, the limited amount of stores and things that you could do outside of the, you know, turf war and ranked modes, it was pretty basic, and it was pretty bare bones for a while, and it took a lot of, you know, free updates to finally give us all these new weapons, also all the available gear. Just finally clicking on a mode and hearing the lobby music was just a breath of fresh air. Seriously, it gave me a little bit of chills just listening to that theme song as you're waiting for people to fill up the lobby. Also, not every stage from Splatoon 1 is in Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3, so it's nice to go back and see some of these stages, but of course I also forgot that back then it was new stages every 4 hours. Yeah, it was horrible. But man, is this game different. It just feels different. I mean, also considering the fact that you have to play with the Wii U gamepad, it's very weird. It's a very bulky, weird controller scheme, and it's strange, especially mine because my volume and vibrate is weird on the gamepad. It's been so old, so like the vibrate makes a squeaky noise every time I shoot. It's just so old feeling. It's also funny that this game is technically in HD. Like, this is an HD game on the Wii U, and it just never feels like it to me. I never had that feeling of it being an HD game because when you compare it to Splatoon 2 and 3, the colors look kind of washed out. It just looks blurry in certain areas and grainy, and it just doesn't look that great compared to the other two games. And it almost feels very nostalgic, which is hilarious for a Wii U game. It's also just really funny to see the kits that you have in this game. They're so different, including the specials, which a lot of them were just like throwing a whole bunch of your subs. For instance, the bomb rush where you're just chucking bombs or splat bombs is just crazy, and it's actually extremely overpowered for a charger because the splat bomb sub is already really good for that weapon, so to have a special where you're just throwing tons of these bombs, it was kind of crazy. Some of these things weren't extremely balanced, I'm telling you that. It really doesn't take long to see what weapons were really tearing it up back then, because still to this day, the Slosher is a menace, especially considering the fact that you can have Splat Bomb with it. Like, why? Honestly, Splat Bomb was just so good back then. It still is really good, but man, it just felt like it was so much more powerful back on the Splatoon 1, man. I mean, you would just throw those and immediately follow up with your weapon with like almost no in-lag. Also, if you're wondering why we're playing at nighttime, because you might think Splatfests are over, well, we had a hacker in our lobby, which is hilarious because I guess he was able to make it nighttime. And yeah, you can just look at his name. but I guess he also was able to hack his charger where he didn't even need to charge it. He's just sniping people, which was hilarious though. But yeah, it was kind of cool because you could also have the Splatfest music he had playing through his hack. So pretty good time to get on Splatoon. We actually could experience like a Splatfest nighttime stage vibe again, which was awesome. He also somehow had a hack where it showed our colored ink on him, making it look like he was weak, even though he's not. And he also had like a giant flag on him. Yeah, it's some weird stuff going on. I also played with somebody named By Paulygon, which is hilarious. I guess they knew the vibe of the video before I even posted this thing. I also remember how unbelievably dreadful rank mode was. Oh my goodness. So pretty much you could get up to S+. And I was there eventually falling off because I tried to go as high on S+ as I possibly could, and eventually I knocked myself all the way back down to S. But it's such a horrible ranking system when you get into the very higher rankings because you could win like 5 in a row and only go up like 2 or 3 each time. You lose 1, you drop like 5 or 6, sometimes even like 7. It was just terrible. So I played 2 games just for the memory. 1 won, lost 1. So I just decided to stop before I dropped back down to A+ or something. I also started to relive some of the memories of the Splatfest, and it actually made me really sad. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of fell off with Splatfest towards the end of Splatoon 2, towards the middle of Splatoon 2. I don't know. They did have some really interesting things with the shifty stations and stuff and the unique maps. I just didn't feel the same after playing like every single one in Splatoon 1. That's right, I played like every one, and I think I only lost like 3 total. Yeah, I was kind of going off and picking the right team, it looks like. But yeah, I loved Splatfest. I would rank up to the max on every single one that they released. There were some really interesting ones. They had Transformers with Autobots versus Decepticons. They had Pokemon with Pokemon Red versus Pokemon Blue. Some of you guys might think this is a joke, but no, they actually had SpongeBob versus Patrick in Splatoon, in a Nintendo game. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, the final one, which was very important as it would change the future of Splatoon. Obviously, giving us our main storyline for Splatoon 2 and probably even influencing that of Splatoon 3 a little bit. Splatfest felt so alive back then. They felt like a new, fresh idea that we have never seen, bringing everybody on the console together on one specific weekend in order to battle it out for their favorite team. In fact, Splatoon 1 was so important to me. It was one of the very first videos I ever made and one of the reasons why I wanted to make videos in the first place. Yep, that's right, I made a Splatoon montage for the final Splatfest on August 14th of 2016, being 7 years ago. It is my 2nd video ever on the channel and you can go watch it. I'll show you some clippets here. Yep, I absolutely fell in love with the splatter scope, and it's still my favorite weapon to this day. And of course, your boy still got it. New montage! This was a sad video to make. And I know people are gonna always be in the comments and say, you're being dramatic, Nintendo Land. Like, come on, Splatoon 1's not deleting from your Wii U. Of course not, you know? But with it being a primarily multiplayer focused game, it essentially is. Yes, you still have a pretty bare bones single player mode to play, but at the same time, you're missing one of the biggest parts of this game. The stages, the specials, the subs, and just the fun experiences that we've had online. Some of you guys may be too young or maybe just missed out back when this all started and seeing the Nintendo Directs focused for Splatoon 1, but I remember just watching them and soaking all of this up and being so excited for this game. In fact, this was around the time I first found out that Nintendo Directs were a thing. So this was one of the very first Nintendo Directs that I watched, and I sat and I just soaked in everything Splatoon-wise, and I was so excited for this game. And I never thought a new IP like this would draw me in more than a Mario game, or, you know, more than a Kirby game, or Smash Brothers, or Mario Kart. It's just kind of insane. So even though the current trilogy is over, we'll always have more Splatoons. There's gonna be more in the future, of course. It's one of Nintendo's biggest franchises and one of their biggest ones ever in Japan, so Splatoon is just starting. It's still a baby, and it's just gonna grow and become something great in the future. And I can't wait to see where the franchise goes, but it is a sad day for Splatoon 1, and it's a farewell that we're going to have to give it. But thank you for the memories, Splatoon. I'll never forget the Wii U days, and I'll never forget playing on that big Wii U gamepad, because in 5 days, the servers are shut down. But it's about the memories that we made and the little bit of time we still have left to enjoy them. What are you doing? Dust off your Wii U, boot it up, and play some Splatoon while you can. You got a little bit of time left, and enjoy where it all came from one last time. And I will see you all on the next one. See you guys.